What's up everybody? Welcome back to the Chug Nerd YouTube channel. Today I have the absolute pleasure of letting you know that we are going to be checking out this very cool LTD 7-string guitar. Let's take a closer look. Alright, welcome back everybody, welcome back to the Chug Nerd YouTube channel. My name is DJ, I'm a guitarist, I'm from the southwest of the UK and I've been playing guitar for around about 20 years or so now. I play in a band, we're a kind of modern groove metal band from the southwest of the UK called HollowKin. I'll leave links down to all of our music down below, but if you kind of enjoy any of the sounds, riffs and demos that are in this YouTube video, then you might very well enjoy HollowKin. So feel free to check us out, and anything that you do to follow us or support us is always massively appreciated. Anyway, let's check out this guitar. This is the ESP LTD TE-407 guitar, and it is an absolute beast. I have had the best time with this guitar in the week or so that I have been lucky enough to have it in my possession. Before we do anything though, let's check out how it sounds in a full demo mix tuned to drop G. Let's see what it can do. So at this point of the video, I like to just very quickly check out some specifications for the guitar while I roll some beautiful B-roll. This is the ESP LTD TE-407 7-string Tele style guitar made in Indonesia. We've got a 25.5-inch scale length across a mahogany body, a maple neck and a rosewood fretboard. We've got a 48mm nut, and it's a plastic nut with a thin U-neck contour. We've got 22 extra jumbo frets, and everything is finished, of course, in black satin hardware. Originally, this guitar came with LTD tuners, but they have been upgraded to Hipshot open gear tuners and they look absolutely superb, but I'll get onto that in a minute. We've got an LTD own brand fixed bridge. Electronics wise, we've got an EMG 817 in the bridge and an EMG 707 in the neck with a 3-way blade switch, a master volume and a master tone. Fretboard radius is 13.8 inches and it comes as it is with no case or gig bag or anything like that, strung with 10 to 56 strings. So this guitar, sadly, very sadly, doesn't belong to me. This guitar belongs to a buddy of mine by the name of Rory. Rory is in a band called Dead Society. You can check them out on Instagram and such. They're a band that rehearse at my studio, and he's very kindly lent me this guitar for this demo, and that is why it's not completely stock. as it came from the factory. So as I mentioned just then, the tuning keys are Hipshot open gear tuners. They are absolutely superb, so I will ignore them when I'm kind of talking about what I like and what I don't like about this guitar, because obviously I can't comment on how good the original tuners are, but the original ones are Grover Rotomatic, so I imagine they're pretty good. I've had Grovers on plenty of guitars before and they do the job just fine. They're just not locking, those ones in particular. I will say I have to ignore a massive bias with this guitar because I love T-style guitars. I'm a massive LTD fan. Obviously, I love 7-strings. If you've watched this channel before, then you'll know that I adore 7-string guitars. They're kind of the main thing I play. So I've had to kind of push my biases to one side because I could just be like, yep, this is perfect. Buy one now if you see one. Done. See you next time. But I don't want to be like that. I want to give a decent review. I want to give my own opinions, and these are just my own opinions. If you've got your own, please feel free to get them down in the comments section. I love to try and reply to all the comments if I can and kind of have a bit of a conversation with people down there. So please feel free to let me know your thoughts down there and we'll have a conversation, a polite conversation if we can. So let's start with the positives of this guitar. Playability, phenomenal. Loved playing this guitar. The neck is super comfortable. It's pretty much what you'd expect on an LTD guitar. It's not too thick, it's not too thin, it's very comfortable. Probably a slightly more rounder fretboard than I'm used to. I tend to play like 18 to 20 inch fretboards on like my PRS and my Legator and such, but still super comfortable. I had a great time doing lead work. I had a great time doing riffs and chuggy wuggy noises. So just really enjoyed all of the playability aspects. It's set up exactly how you'd expect in that it's got like the volume, the tone, and the 3-way blade. That wasn't me, it was already loose. Field surgery. And the 3-way blade switch, exactly where you'd expect it to be. That all works just perfect, exactly how you'd want it to be when you're playing and you want to take down the volume or move the tone pot if you're some kind of psychopath and you use the tone pot on a metal guitar. Anyway, I digress. But playability wise, loved this. I will mention 25.5 inches. Some people would say that's too short for a 7-string guitar on a scale. Me personally, my Epiphone Les Paul Matt Heafy Origins custom guitar is a 7-string with a 25.5 inch scale. And honestly, I really enjoy that guitar. This is tuned to drop G, which is what Rory plays in. But for me, it's just a fraction too loose. I like a little bit more tension in the strings when I'm playing. So I think if I had this set up in drop A rather than drop G, I think it would play amazing, and probably I wouldn't notice that 1 less inch on the scale length. But I know for some people that is a bit of a deal breaker and it is a bit of a thing that you're going to want to avoid on a guitar. But I'm just saying, from my own personal opinion, I think it works great. I don't mind a 25.5 inch scale on a 7-string guitar. I am, of course, Not going to comment on the fit and finish because this thing has seen a few rounds and it has got chips, dents, scratches galore, which I love on a guitar. It's very much taken on the wear and tear and shape of Rory. He does lots of gigs and he rehearses all the time, and he's obviously someone who's very passionate about playing guitar and plays all the time, so it has lots of wear and tear. However, I will say all the frets beautifully put in and have held really well over the years. I know this is a couple of years old and Rory has put it through a lot of gigs and rehearsals and recordings and such, but it seems to have held up really, really well, which I think is a really good sign. All the original hardware, electronics is all great, and everything is as it should be, which is a good sign after all these years. Another nice feature is the neck. Anyone who's been here before will know that I really hate gloss necks. I usually sandpaper them off to give it like a satin or matte finish. This has got a nice satin finish on it as it is, which is cool, and I really appreciate that, and I wanted to point that out. It's also got this teeny weeny little bevel on the heel just to give you a tiny bit of help getting up to that top end of the fretboard. Does only have 22 frets, which on a metal guitar, maybe I would have liked to have seen 24, but it's not a deal breaker. I can do just fine with an octave and most of the next octave, so that's absolutely fine. Again, my Les Paul's only got 22 frets and it works absolutely fine. Frets are the standard kind of extra super mega jumbo LTD frets that you'd expect, so they're real easy to fret, real easy to play, and make playing leads kind of easy peasy. Bends are out of this world. It's great. It's easy peasy and great fun to play. The one thing I'm not super stoked about with this guitar, and I think it's just because I haven't used them in a really long time, is the EMGs that it comes with. Now, most LTDs a couple of years ago, they switched out from being primarily EMG 81s to being primarily Fishmans, and I've used Fishmans now for years. I've got them on my Epiphone, I've got them on my Legator, and I've had them on various other guitars, and I've gotten real accustomed to that sound and the plethora of noises that you can make when you have Fishmans, with all the push pulls and everything that you can do with coil splitting and vintage and modern and passive and active and all the rest of it. And I just felt with these EMGs, they were just a bit, I mean, they're super compressed. So when you're looking, like when I was doing all the recording, all the waveforms were just identical. Like there was hardly any dynamic at all across the whole demo track that I did, or any of the tones. And I just found them to be a bit fizzy. It doesn't mean I didn't like them, they just weren't what I was used to. They felt almost like a little bit of a step back in time. I used to have a couple of LTD baritones. I had an MHB 400 and a VB 400, and I absolutely loved both of those guitars, but they had EMGs in, and it just felt like, I mean, yeah, that is the EMG sound. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't, and that's fine. It's horses for courses, and we all like different things, and that's cool. I just wanted to point out that that's what this does come with, and if it's not your kind of thing, then you might notice it, and it might be a worthwhile thing to swap them out. But that's an easy thing to do, just to grab a set of Fishmans or something else, Seymour Duncan's, Damasio's, whatever, and drop them in. Aesthetics wise, I think this is gloriously beautiful in every single way. Not the most massive fan of all black guitars, but they do hold a special place in my heart. This is no exception at all. I think this is absolutely stunning. I think they do this one in white. I don't even know if you can get this guitar anymore. This might be like a secondhand Reverb or Marketplace kind of find only at this point. But if I was presented with this or the white one, I think I would definitely take the white one every single time. I absolutely adore this satin finish. I'm I'm not a big fan of gloss, as I've already mentioned, and that includes on the tops of guitars as well. So this satin finish, which takes on the wear of the user and kind of gets scuffed up and goes shiny in spots where you use it, I really like that and I'm really into that. And so I really love the look of this guitar and the super metal vibes of it. And it's nice because it's still got that kind of telly shape to it. It's not like my Solar, which I have right here, and I appreciate this is absolutely gopping because I haven't cleaned it after our last show yet. But my Solar, I love it. It's my favorite #1 guitar, but it's obviously a very metalized version with this pointy horn down here and this headstock up here, which is obviously super, super metal. This ESP, this LTD, is real nice because it retains a lot of that kind of classic charm that you'd expect from a telly, just an LTD version of it, which I think is quite nice. This, in all honesty, is one of those guitars that I've borrowed off of a buddy over the last couple of weeks, and this is one that I truly, genuinely wish was staying in the collection. Yeah, the EMGs aren't my particular bag, and there's a couple of things I'd upgrade. I'd probably put a Graphtec nut in there rather than the plastic one. Love the hip shot tuners on top, the open gears. They both look cool, and they're incredibly fluid and incredibly accurate. There's other bits and pieces, but overall, this is such a sick guitar. Love it. Comes massively highly recommended from me if you get a chance to pick one up or give one a go. I think it's wicked. If you're into your metal guitars, you like a 7-string, you like something a bit more traditional, this is definitely going to tickle your pickle and float your boat. Love it. Very, very cool guitar. Hey everyone, it's DJ and Editing here. Just a real quick note, I just wanted to mention as well that this is a really surprisingly heavy guitar. I didn't weigh it, but it has got some real chunk and some real girth to it, which I really like. I like a heavy guitar. I like to be able to feel that there's something strapped to my shoulder, but I did want to also do a quick test to see if there was any neck dive, being that this is an extended range instrument, but as you can see from my test, it doesn't really suffer from neck dive. It's real body heavy, so yeah, there we go. Back to the video. Anyway, I think that is probably everything that I've got for today. As always, I could just talk and talk and talk about guitars, but I have to stop myself and leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you've enjoyed this video and you found anything about it useful or entertaining, then please feel free to subscribe. I would love it and appreciate it very much. I am on my way to 1,000 followers and I'm just floating around the middle of the 600s at the moment. So any support that you can possibly give me would be massively appreciated while I'm on my initial little journey to 1,000 subs. Likes and comments, of course, as well, are very much appreciated too. So if you go on to drop a like or a comment, just know that I appreciate you doing so more than you possibly know. Thank you very much for joining me today, everybody. I will catch up with you again in another video very, very soon. In a bit.